Good evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now, November 15th, 2025, to tell you about the deluge. The flood, but not of Al-Aqsa, rather of Gaza, has just devastated the entire strip, and the images are horrific. Yahya Sinwar's plan did not turn out as he expected. And honestly, family, this is just the beginning of Gaza's curse. Everything that happens, everything that goes on here in Military Strategies, family, your likes, your comments. Let's get started. Hello there. Good evening, family. Welcome to Military Strategies. We're live. Sorry for the delay, but I wanted to check a series of information that was coming in at the last minute, and it's important that we analyze it before sharing it with you. Tonight, we have breaking news. Also, as you can see written down here, Saudi Arabia could have F-35 jets in the very near future. This is not good news for Israel, but that's not all. There's breaking news just in Iran. Could it prepare a salvo of more than 2,000 ballistic missiles to be launched all at once against Israel? And also Iran, no less, has hijacked a ship. In the Persian Gulf. That's the thing with Iran. That's the story. But also, the biggest breaking news of all, the RAT, one unit of Hezbollah, the Special Operations Group, those set to carry out the Jericho operation, Jericho Wall, to invade northern Galilee. The north of Israel, they had recovered and might already be capable of launching an assault against the Israeli border. All of this happening at the same time as the images don't lie. Flood of gas. The result, the effect of 2.5 years of war in which the Gazans, of living off international aid, stopping cafes, parks, restaurants, luxury car dealerships, and an easy life. They've come to collect water with buckets. Some are even begging for Noah's Ark to come and take them all away to the desert. Incredible images of what's happening right now when, on top of that, 3 are the ones left at home. Held hostage, there are still 3 left. According to Israel, it could. The location of 2 of them could be known or understood. And Israel even believes that Hamas knows the location of the last 3. This is the final moment of the first phase. Similarly, we're nearing the final moment for the last 3 to return home. The questions arise, is Russia too much? Today, an interesting strategic operation took place. It is going to propose a draft at the United Nations with a new ceasefire in which it would never continue to have a role. In Gaza's government, disarmament is not included. Proposal from Russia. What do you all think? Well, your likes and your comments are also super important today, family. Later on, we'll talk about Venezuela. We have a great show prepared. Don't worry, Maduro is preparing his exit. The exodus? The presidential and second presidential planes are already warming up on the runway, ready. Let's see. Because also Maduro has taken action, and we'll see it later on. Let's get to the point. We haven't discussed Gaza or Israel in a while, not for any specific reason. Maybe there is one. Things have happened. I'll tell you when it's time. By the way, I'll tell you something now that we're here alone. Walking with my brother Ariel Kaniewski, Judio Historia, a channel I recommend you subscribe to. We walked through Jerusalem. I won't say which day for security reasons. And now you're going to understand why. We walked through Jerusalem. And something happened. Something happened, and you're going to be amazed. We were around there. It's just unbelievable. We were walking with Ariel, and Ariel told me, or I say, I bet you won't. I bet we go in to the Esplanado. But of course, it was outside the usual tourist hours. I mean, it was in the late afternoon or evening, more like night. He said, no, you wouldn't dare. And I replied, yes, I do. And he said to me, what do you want to bet? I told him something, and he said, I accept. What happens after this, you'll see in a video soon. If military strategies infiltrated the Al-Aqsa Mosque, what happened there? Don't miss it. Coming soon. Don't miss it. Special program with Ariel Kanieski. Strategies in hostile territory. You really can't miss it. That video will be amazing. Well, if it happened, which we don't know yet, if he made it. Whether he managed to get in with strategies or not. Inside, we'll see. Well, family, speaking of getting in or not, and about the flooding of Al-Aqsa, that's why I'm mentioning it, because it just came to my mind. Here, Asingwar had a plan to flood Israel. And not exactly with water. The rivers of October 7, 2023 didn't carry water, but rather a reddish bodily fluid. We've seen it there. We've been in the kibbutzim. We've been at Nova Party. We've been in many places, and the memories that come back are overwhelming. The images stay. What to say or what to tell. We were there with Captain Kaplan, the Israel Defense Forces spokesperson in Spanish. And the truth is, well, it was amazing. Everything we could see there, everything that this whole story involved. Very tough times for Israel. The war isn't over yet. To this day, there are still ongoing battles. In fact, there was fighting this morning, or today, with the terrorist who was infiltrating behind the yellow line. Surveillance remains very strict. And the situation doesn't seem like it's going to improve. In fact, 48 hours ago, Netanyahu met with the entire cabinet to specifically look for a military option. Given what will be the refusal of the second phase, for these barbarians to disarm, to go into exile, that's not going to happen. Israel's already considering what's next. It makes sense and has history. Behind all of this, Israel has made a tactical military pause. They've done it several times already. It's a small army. It's a small country. It can't launch a campaign for months and months and months without resting. The reservists, the professional line of the army, they need to rest. And I think that's what's happening. Has the main achievement been accomplished? When I was the first one who didn't believe that the hostages would be released, has it happened? From this whole list, you see, only 3 remain. 3 are the ones left from that list you just saw in the image. And of course, now comes the decisive moment. Is Israel going to make the historic decision to ensure that this never happens again? Or on the contrary? Is the hourglass, the clock of death, going to be reset and start counting again? In Lebanon, they're not just getting ready, they're already prepared. To do it again? Judea and Samaria, too. The worst thing that could happen to the people of Israel is to forget exactly this, about October 7th. The images are impressive with Ronnie Kaplan. When we saw the melted television from the fire inside Neros, from the burned houses, the home of the Vivas family, it was overwhelming. Really overwhelming. Judea, Samaria. Images from just now. Less than 24 hours. An anti-terrorist operation where they took down a terrorist, arrested a significant number, and neutralized the threat. arsenals prepared to launch an attack against Israel, special operations groups from the elite anti-terrorist unit Yaman raiding different places and locations in the area. From the Palestinian Authority's control, an authority that also, every day it matters less and has less power in the Gaza Strip. But what has really happened? What's this about Gaza flooding? Where does our title come from? Today I'm going to show you the weather map so you can understand the climate, so you can understand what's happening. We're going to see it in a second. Take a look at this. Right now. About Deir el-Bala. There's a brutal thunderstorm. There's rain. Come on, it's been pouring down. All day. There, do you know what else happens? Unlike before, no one took responsibility to act when Israel left the Gaza Strip. Very negative for the population, as it meant removing Gaza Strip's pipes, plumbing, and sewage systems, build tunnels, or use pipes for rockets. Well, there is no water drainage system at all. As a direct or indirect consequence of that, what happens in this story is that the water has flooded everything. And the Gazans, instead of blaming Hamas, instead of holding Hamas responsible for having brought them to this situation, do you know who they blame? Israel. Now, Israel is blamed for everyone losing their homes and having nothing left. And for them being intense. Have they forgotten that the man who carried out the plan, who declared war on Israel and launched a surprise attack, taking the lives of thousands of people? He was from Gaza. His name was Sinwar, and he was the leader of Hamas. But what are Daras's images? Well, look at it. Pay attention to this. The flood in Gaza. Flood. Flood of. Flood. It's not exactly the best image we'd like to see. Unfortunately, there are children who are suffering because of their parents' poor decisions. The weakest link in the whole chain, the most vulnerable, the easiest one. To indoctrinate in hatred and revenge towards others, that's the one experiencing this firsthand. The leaders of Hamas, those who signed the order to attack on October 7th, those people are not suffering the harsh weather. They are not walking on sewage water. No. They aren't suffering this. Those leaders are in Qatar with hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in their bank accounts. Money from international humanitarian aid, which has left their people in misery. 5-star hotels, mansions, swimming pools, luxury restaurants, luxury cars. Women of questionable morals. It's the usual life at the top of Hamas. However, the flood that was supposed to flood Israel and carry all the Jews to the sea. Those who wanted to be drowned, those who wanted to drown others have now ended up drowning themselves. Terrible images, the flood to flood and yes. The image is what it is. I have my doubts. Anyway, I have my doubts. On October 7th, unfortunately, the vast majority of the population of Gaza was not mourning for the kidnapped. They were not mourning for those who had been killed. We spoke with some people during our trip to Gaza, well, to Israel, which also included, or not Gaza. We won't reveal if we were inside. And they talked about this. The first wave was a wave of barbarians from Nukva and Hamas. The second wave was civilians. And those were the worst. What's the solution? What would be the solution? For the people of Gaza? To leave? Trump offered them a decent place to live. Decent houses, a place to start from scratch and forget everything that has happened. This doesn't make sense. When they throw the buckets aside, the water just falls back down. Is this just for show? I repeat. It's more than obvious that now, on an international level, the campaign for the winter of Gaza is about to begin. We're going to see images of wet children. Tents filled with water. I remember that one year we even saw Gaza with snow. Literally, Gaza with snow. I don't think anyone in Israel remembers when it snowed in Gaza. Besides, that area is really hot. We're going to see another huge movement so that Israel leaves that place so that it keeps sending aid trucks. But what's happening with the aid trucks? Because the key here is also what's going on with the humanitarian aid. We haven't discussed this topic in days, and now you'll see it. But remember, there are 8,000 people here right now. We're missing many likes. If you enjoy the content, you can help out by liking or sending a super chat so that we can tell the truth against the misinformation about what's happening in Gaza. The media war, the one that Israel has lost for different reasons, possibly some of them related to the management of it. We try to tell the world the reality of things. What is happening over there? What is going on over there? Well, humanitarian aid hasn't exactly changed hands. And now you're going to see something. When I saw it, I thought it was just normal daily life. Trucks that come in, trucks that are hijacked, and trucks that are lost. In the end, the aid ends up in the hands of the same people, those who caused all of this. Just 100 meters after crossing the yellow line, Hamas is waiting for the trucks. The arrival of those trucks means that they are later sold at a much higher price. The population lacks access to that food. For example, this one, Lakai, and those of the... You hear Israel's drones, they're watching, and you can't act. They're beyond the yellow line, and there you see them loading the trucks, taking them away, and the food to the tunnels. Is this the United Nations solution? Is this how the United Nations wants Gaza to be rebuilt? Get ready. Turkey now wants to send its army into Gaza, just what was missing. Israel obviously has said no, not in any way. But be careful, what Israel has gained is that Turkey doesn't show up directly at its border. It could lose it in another way, and that's Saudi Arabia. And this is the other big news of the day. It could get 43 F-35 stealth-capable planes like the ones Israel has, and Israel's air superiority would no longer be as superior throughout the region. The balance could start to tip more to one side. Israel survives militarily largely due to its regional military superiority. If Donald Trump starts selling cutting-edge military technology to Israel's natural enemies, we're in trouble, and in serious trouble too, very serious. An Israel that is currently facing a possible new war in Lebanon, an Israel that still isn't sure what will happen with Syria. Saudi Arabia still hasn't recognized the state of Israel. A rather delicate situation internationally for the state of Israel. But between one thing and another, we have another small but important detail. Next year, the coming year, I think there are elections in Israel. Please correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm making a mistake. He is also about to enter a very important internal political battle, a battle that, moreover, as a result, Bibi might doesn't continue or returns. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Storm images. This is Israel, not Gaza. It was brutal. Oh my God. And when it rains, it pours. The difference is that in Israel, the sewers aren't used to make rockets. And the water goes away. To the sea. It doesn't stay there. Iran issue. What happened? What's going on? It's an interesting topic. The alarm went off a few hours ago that a United States drone was flying around in the Persian Gulf. There was an incident we couldn't discuss before, but now we can. Iran has gone so far as to hijack an oil tanker on the coastlines of the Persian Gulf. Altalar. This ship that transports, I don't think it transports oil, it carries another type of substance. I'll look it up now. To confirm it. Well, it has been hijacked. Donald Trump hasn't commented and nothing has been reported here. Where is the oil tanker? Likely Bandar Abbas. Marshall Islands flag. This vessel. It could have been seized by the Iranian service taking control of the oil tanker, and now it seems that it might be heading toward Iran, or it could already be in Iran. Why is Iran doing this? Why? Iran is currently facing a serious problem, the latest for the Iranians. They have blamed women for a drought in Tehran, because supposedly, since women are not wearing the veil correctly, it's a punishment from God. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. Meanwhile, there's another topic that has gone unnoticed. Greece and Israel are holding military exercises. Greece and Israel enjoy strong military relations. And they also have a common enemy, Turkey. And one of the main reasons why that enemy is Turkey is because of Cyprus. Well, we're going to go to Cyprus to look at the map and understand what we're talking about and what's happening. In recent weeks, patrol operations and military exercises have intensified between the Cypriot army, the Greek army, which is basically the same, and Israel. What's the point of this? Well, it's something that Ankara doesn't like. Erdogan doesn't like that Israel is conducting military exercises with Greece. Greece keeps pressuring Cyprus for Turkey to leave the area under Turkish control and occupation. It could be one of the next crises we see. And be careful, because Saudi Arabia isn't the only one that wants to have F-35 jets Turkey. And Erdogan keeps sending messages to Donald Trump asking him to sell them. Again, disturbing news, very disturbing, about what could happen with Israel in the coming days, weeks, or months. Not to mention, of course, the gang of these lunatics keeps looking for the nuclear weapon. This is what happens when it doesn't end. The problem is that the problem comes back. And on top of that, it's doubled twice. The regime might have been overthrown. Countless things could have happened. But that's not the case. They decided the war would end that day. They're preparing with 2,000 ballistic missiles to launch them in a barrage. And be careful. 2,000 ballistic missiles pose a problem for Israel. Launching them together is a problem. And we have to be realistic about this. We can't falsely assure people that all will be well. The Iranian threat is bigger than ever, even before the first war that Israel has had with Iran. Much bigger. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to evaluate each of the details as they come. I don't know what you all think in the chat, family. Please, let's see your messages. What do you think about all this? Flood? No flood? What do you all think about this whole story? Because I think it's one of the really important details to keep in mind for what's coming next. And what's coming next isn't exactly something easy. Israel has to make decisions. Very important strategic ones, and it is making them. Told you to make it easy. Come on. Let's talk about your super chat. Family, thank you so much for collaborating with us. Also excited for the Venezuela live stream. I'm being honest. Did they learn how to breathe underwater or what? It's a topic that's being kept very quiet, Alfredo. Witkoff said the 200 could leave the tunnel if they went into exile. That it would be a good pilot program. For the rest of the members of Hamas, the people from Hamas have said they're not going anywhere, that they're not going to leave. What do you all think? Come on, let's pick some comments from the chat. Many thanks also to the moderators. With the flood, are they going to multiply like the Grendlings? Oh my, I don't know where you guys come up with these things. See you later. An oil tanker has been hijacked by Iran. This threatens the international crew. The oil tanker left the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates is a United States ally. What will happen now? The United States could have intervened. They could have launched an attack against those speedboats and eliminated the threat to the vessel. The vessel surely sent out a distress signal. There's too much darkness in this whole story. Way too much. Russia's proposal on Hamas is unacceptable. Well, they're business partners. Russia sells weapons to all these people. What is Russia interested in? Well, that they keep and buy more weapons. We need to use the rises to fill the tunnels. Game over. They're probably not going to get flooded by the rain. Those who are in the tunnels have electricity, water, hot water, sewers. They have everything. Well, it's a complicated issue, quite complicated. Family? This concludes our news from Israel. Thank you very much, really. See you soon in no time. 30 minutes. Program Venezuela attention Maduro prepares to flee, and we have information about what is happening right now at the White House. See you next time on Military Strategies. Greetings.